I beat my dad for accusing me of rope. When I was 18, my cousin accused me of roping her. I had moved away to live on my own by this point and had not seen her in about a year. My father called me one day asking to meet up while I was living alone. I went out to meet him at his house and he received me with a slap in the face. My father has never laid hands on me before, this was the first time. I was stunned and asked him why he slapped me. He slapped me again and told me to get out of the house. He told me that his brother had told him that my cousin said that I roped her. My cousin was going through a depressive period in her life and was hurting herself. Her dad found out what she was doing, and she just blamed me for everything. My cousin didn't press charges due to lack of proof, but my uncle wanted to lay the smack down on me. My dad was disappointed in me. He laid hands on me again, called me an abuser, insulted me and told me to get out of his house. My mom was always a submissive person with him, so she didn't say anything to him. With my lip bleeding, I grabbed my most valuable things and left. I had a rough time for the next few years, and was jumping from job to job to survive. When I was 20 years old, my girlfriend at that time told me that I could work at the KFC where she worked as a delivery order receptionist. The part-time job paid well, and with the bonuses you could even earn double or triple my current salary, so I worked there doing the best I could while studying a technical degree in administration. Years passed and I ended up becoming a supervisor and then manager of that store thanks to my technical degree in business administration. At the age of 27, my girlfriend and I got married. It was a small wedding because both she and I are modest with expenses and because I had no family to invite. We currently have a 1-year-old son whom I love with all my soul. It was after this that everything went to hell, today in the middle of the afternoon. There was a knock at my door. It was my parents. It had been more than a decade since I had seen them. I was frozen, but not with fear, but with anger. My dad asked me if he could come in and I told him no. However, he pressured me into talking with him. We went to a nearby park to talk. He told me that my cousin had taken her life and that in her letter she confessed the whole truth, that the person who actually abused her was her uncle and that everything was orchestrated by him. I had no feelings towards what my dad had told me. I didn't feel sorry for her. I told them kindly to go away and never contact me again, that they were dead to me and that I did not care for my cousin. When I stood up from the bench to go home, my dad grabbed me by the shoulder. He told me that we have to keep talking. I told him no. He insisted. I told him no. He insisted again, so I turned around and instinctively socked him. I don't know when my dad became so weak, but one firstful was enough to break his nose. He stood stunned looking at me with his eyes open and his nose bleeding, and my mom was covering her mouth. My next reaction was to throw myself at him. It wasn't difficult to knock him to the ground and I continued wailing on him. When he started to cover his face, I started wailing his forehead. It felt liberating. I felt like I was crying while I did it, and I continued until my right hand was hurting. My mother stood still. For some reason she didn't do anything. She just stood there watching and crying. When I finally stopped giving my dad the Randy Orton treatment, my mom helped my dad and they took a taxi. She didn't say anything to me, she didn't scream, she just cried, and as soon as she grabbed my dad she ran away. If she had tried to intervene, maybe she would have gotten the John Cena treatment too. I came home to talk to my wife about it and she stuck up for my dad, saying there was no need to do what I did. I lost it on her too and hospitalized her.